Um, that it was a contract issue from before my time. So the issue is solved. So both parties, the club and Hagi, came together, and now it's resolved. So then it's normal. He's back in the squad training, and it's by getting him back to his best level. That's the job now to do.
How do you feel about that from a footballing perspective, then, having him as an option?
Yes, it's not an option yet, so there's a way to go, of course. But the more players you can have that can make a difference for your team, the better as a gaffer. So clearly, I'm happy then that this situation that I didn't like to have is resolved now.
You said before, as it's a contract issue before your time, does there become a point where you can get involved to try and urge both parties to sit down because you want him as a part of your team, or do you have to stay with it altogether?
I don't want to respond to that. So that's internal business.
New contract for him as well. What does that say about the way you and the club see him?
That Dujon showed several good things last season, this season. For me, last season more than this season. He struggled a bit with his fitness, so we need to get him better in that way. But that he deserved this new contract. We believe a lot in his qualities for the future, and he showed also in different positions that he's ready to fight for the club, for the squad. So it's important to keep those kind of players also in the club for the future.
Dujon, is it important for him in his long-term career if he settles down into one position and isn't sort of bouncing about?
Yes, of course, but you need to also to show them that you can play 10 games in a row in that way, in that position, and then you can compete. He can compete in a lot of positions with a lot of players, but you need to show consistency, and that's what we're going to work on with him the next couple of months to get him to make him that kind of player, and then he can compete in different positions. But then the idea is to do it in one.
Is there anything you can say about Ianis and the way he has behaved in the time when he's not been?
No, he behaved all the time well, and our contact was good all the time, so there was never a problem between us. We met each other a lot of times here in the building. So he did everything what you expect from a professional player. But it's in those situations it's maybe not always the case, but he's been an example in that way for sure.
How far behind the rest of the group?
You want in miles or in kilometers? No, yeah, it doesn't work that way. So Ianis trained now one time. Of course, he trained all the time with second team. We let him play also the games with the second team to keep his fitness as high as possible. So we will see the next days, the next weeks, how that is. And it's about fighting for the places in the squad, in the team. It's for him the same as for other players.
So do you have an idea of where specifically Dujon will end up in terms of his position?
Yeah, I have an idea for the future, but it's too fast to say that.
Just on Ianis, it's like a new signing for you, right? Is that the way you look on it, that it's somebody who can contribute?
Yes, for sure. It's a new signing in that way, because I was never able to work with him and to have him in my squad.
And in terms of this competition, we saw you take the team to the top of the group last season. Can you nail down what it is about this competition and this group that seems to bring out the best in it?
No, it's a totally different competition than the domestic games. So you need to do other things also there, and it gets the best out of the players. It gets the best out of our crowd also. I think the European nights were the most special nights also, so I hope to see that tomorrow. But of course, we are also realistic about Lyon. It's a very good team. It's better for me than the teams we met in our group stage. I think it's the level of Benfica, who we met last season. But if you see the difference in budget, in the money they've spent with this squad, and I know a lot of players from the squad still from my time in Monaco, but also the players who they brought in for 20, 25, 32 million. It's a different world. We know that, but we're going to fight with our qualities towards them, like we did against Betis Sevilla or against Benfica, because it was also comparable in that way.
Philippe, you mentioned it there about playing at Ibrox again. How much will that give everyone a lift, the first European game at Ibrox this season?
No, everybody's looking forward to that, and I think the fans also, they love to see quality. They're demanding on that way, so they love to see also quality on the other side, as long as we win. So those are always exciting nights as a fan, I think. This Lyon team has a lot of experience, a lot of players with a really big career, like I said, in Arsenal, or Matic in Chelsea and Man U, or Tolisso in Bayern Munich. And they have a lot of young, exciting talents also, like Cherki, who's one of the stars of French football, but also the new wingers with Fofana, Nuama. Zaha also has a big reputation. They have two squads with quality players. So that's always exciting to see what we with our qualities can show against that. So I'm looking forward to that.
On Ianis, you mentioned it was a contract issue. Are you able to say if he's made a sacrifice?
Yeah, I said both parties worked towards each other and found each other finally. So that's a good thing.
In terms of your squad selection, is Mohamed back after missing the international?
Yes, he will be back in the squad, yes.
Any other team news?
Nothing special for the rest. The guys who are out, they will stay out. Ridwan is training with the team now the first times, but he will not be ready to be in selection yet. That's too early and too dangerous. So we need to take a little bit more time for that.
Do you feel your experience of French football helps at all coming into this game in the build-up?
Those are small margins, I think, because we always analyze opponents really deeply. So that was the same way with Malmö, and it was very important to do that, to find the right solutions because of their style of play. And so I don't think it makes a really big difference in that way.
Yeah, we pick up maximum points from your first two games in the Europa League group stage with the new format. That would feel huge, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that would feel huge, but also winning against Lyon would be a huge thing. Even a draw would be a very, very, very good result if you see the difference in budget that they can spend on transfers. So we go full for that, and we go for the 3 points, not to play only to get 1 point. But then we need everybody on his top. We need a few players who go above their level, and to have an amazing evening with the fans being like a 12th player outside the pitch, but that you feel the energy on the pitch. That's what we need also.
When you're game planning for Lyon, how much importance do you have to give to what they can bring off the bench late in games?
Yeah, of course you need to think about that, but you need to first stop also the first 11, not only the guys who come in, and not only to be focused on stopping them, but we need to hurt them also. Otherwise you're under pressure all the time. And they have so much technical qualities in the final thirds that they can make the difference, always with one action and one individual action. So they have 4, 5, 6 players who can do that, and they have 5, 6 players on the bench to bring on in that way. So we need to focus on the start of the game and not looking only at the end of the game. I don't have this richness in the squads to make that kind of choices, I think.
They've had a difficult couple of years, some financial problems. They're not in a great position in the league, but would it be foolish to underestimate them?
If you speak about financial problems and you go to take a look what they spent the last years, then I would like to be in financial problems with Rangers, to be honest. So it's... I don't think in that way it's not the case. So they've spent a lot. They spend a lot on experienced players, but also on young, talented players. Like I said, They bought guys for 25 million. They bought 2 players in Ghent for, I think, 34 million together. So to speak about those prices, it's a different world. We know. But that's the challenge, and that's the nice thing also. You want this competition also to compete with the best. It can only make my players better to compete in that way. They learned about the Sevilla game, the Benfica games. You can grow out of that because my team needs experiences like that to become better. And this different kind of football also.
Jack was praising the 2 central defenders, Proper and Suter, earlier on. I wondered what your assessment was on their partnership. You see green shoots of something quite exciting.
Yeah, it's better and better, and we have also Leon Belgian still there, who knows his role in the squad and who is excellent in that way and showing also quality in the training. We have Nana also who can play as centre back, or even Dujon. So the partnership has been good. It's also important with new players that you can create these connections and this partnership on the pitch, and that they can get to know each other. You can add Jefte also in that way. So half of the defense is new. Our number 6 is new. So you need to find a balance there, and this balance is better and better. What is normal also, the more you work together, if they take the right conclusions after every debrief we make of the games. And they're really hungry to get better, to make less mistakes, and that you see, and it's now positive that we have 4 clean sheets in a row.
And in a game like this, where you know it's going to be challenging ahead of the game, you talked about the budget differentials between the 2 clubs. Do you spend more time looking at the shape, looking at different tactical elements than you would in a normal game?
No, I have respect for every opponent. There's no difference in time in that way. Of course, there is difference in the things you train on, in the things you work on, in the details you want to give to the team. That's every time different. But I have the same respect for Ross County as for Lyon. So we will always take all the time for every opponent. And it's important that my players also respect every opponent, because otherwise, one moment you run into the wall if you're not humble and you're not focused on every detail.
Last one, please.
Just a very quick question from me. Nico Raskin on Sunday was substituted at half time. Was that just a pre-planned thing to keep building him up, or was that more based on how you felt his performance in the game was going?
It was more a tactical thing, yes, in the game, and for him his role has changed this season compared with last season. In the midfield, we do slightly different things, so he needs to adapt in that way. And like with every player, we showed after the images, he's hungry to learn, and he will become better in that role. He can do two roles in that midfield. He can do the role of Conor Barron also. So it's about learning and getting better in that way.
When you first came in, you spoke a lot about passing and lateral passing and using the ball purposely. How important is it when Rangers get the ball tomorrow night that they do use it with purpose and try and influence and also take the risks when it's possible?
It's very important, but it's also an important balance. You can play every ball with purpose to give the ball as the decisive ball, but then you're going to lose a lot of balls for nothing, because sometimes the moment is not there and you need to move an opponent first before you can give the decisive ball. So in that way, I think our best performance was in Malmö. And you need to move the ball, and not every ball was a direct kick forward to the strikers or the attacking player, but to get them out of position to then make the decisive passes. So we're working hard on those things. That's a crucial one in football. To have purpose, yes, but the purpose can also be to move an opponent to get the space afterwards. So purpose is not only to go as fast as possible towards the goal, because then you're going to lose the ball also very much, and you get a little bit of basketball game. That's not the idea.
Patience from the supporters then with that?
Yes, it's an important thing in that way. And you felt it also in the second half of the last game, and it had a lot to do with this penalty just before halftime, so it makes everybody nervous. But then players need to stay calm on the pitch and not to go in those emotions, because otherwise we start to play kick and rush football, and the fans will not be happy with that also at the end.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Please.
What's the mood heading into another European clash?
Yeah, really good, really good. Coming off a good few weeks, good few results. So there's good confidence in the camp. A great result away from home last week. Followed that up with a win on the weekend. So the confidence is high.
Last week in particular, what does that do for belief? I know the manager said that there was no belief problem anyway, but it must still give everyone a real feel-good factor about this competition.
It does. Not only because of that, because there's a new format. You know, it's a little bit new to us all. We obviously have great confidence in ourselves and what we can do at home and what we've done in the past at home. But we've had some great results away from home as well, and that certainly helps. I think that's going to help us hugely in this format. So getting off to a good start puts you in a good position in that league format, and hopefully we can follow it up tomorrow. So the belief's definitely there.
Even although it's a new group of players and then you got a taste of this last season, it feels like for a number of seasons there's something about this competition that brings out the best at Rangers. You feel that now that you're involved?
Yeah. They're huge games. It's a huge club, and to be involved in high-profile games, important games against good European opposition, there's not many players that are going to turn that down or not want to be a part of that. So whether it's as an individual or as a collective, these are huge games for yourself as a player, and for us as a club. We've got a great history and we've done well in the competition in recent years, and yeah, we're looking forward to hopefully following that up.
Jack, how do you feel about Ianis returning last team training?
Good. He's a great kid. Someone that I haven't seen a lot of from a playing perspective in my time here so far. But clearly there's a fantastic player there. Obviously he's represented his international side as well. He's a great player and a great kid. He's been integrated back in. When he'll feature, that's for the manager to answer. But he's a great lad around the place, and we're glad to have him.
As a senior player, did you or any of the other players, Jack, try and get involved to try and get Ianis back in, or solely left to him in the club?
Between him and the club, I think as players you support your teammates as much as you can. We've all been through, some have, some haven't, but we've all been through similar scenarios at times, or witnessed similar scenarios, and it can be a difficult place sometimes as a player, and when there's things going on between the player and the club. That appears to have all been resolved, but as I said, when it comes down to everything else, that's down to the manager and the club. But yeah, as players we always support each other and make sure they've got someone to talk to and confide in. So yeah, he's done that, and he seems in a great place, and what will be will be.
Jack, in terms of building momentum again after the disappointing result at the start of last month, and finding that confidence again, in terms of the clean sheets, just how important have they been, just finding that sort of a foundation just to get things going again?
Huge. I think it's 6 in the last 7. Hopefully we're going to keep that going. It gives us a real platform to play. If you start conceding goals and it becomes a habit of yours, then winning games, you know, especially the game on the weekend against Hibs, if that becomes a game where you then start to concede after little recovery time and perhaps not being at your best, if you lose that sort of defensive stability that we've got, then those games become really difficult. So that's something that we've prided ourselves on, something we need to continue, and certainly that starts again tomorrow.
You lose a figure like Clement, who's been so present almost during his time here, and I suppose that always does take some time to sort of adjust to, but just for your own sake of being a goalkeeper and having John and Rob in front of you, just can you talk us through how your relationship's developed with them, especially John, because he seems to be somebody who seems the last couple of weeks especially is back to his best form.
John and Robin have both been brilliant. I think for someone like Robin to come in, he's an experienced defender. He's played at some great clubs and at good levels as well. So he's stepped in, and I think we've seen the best of him, and I think there's even more to come. What Connor moving on has done has allowed John to play perhaps on his more favoured side. But I think he did fantastic for us on the left as well last year. So he's someone that gives everything for the club. I think has grown incredibly as a defender, and I think he's maturing into a really top centre half. So it's great. I love having him in front of me, and I think as a partnership they're growing. And I think that shows if that partnership is not quite right, then clean sheets can sometimes be hard to come by.
Especially with Connor leaving, he was such a big voice in the back four. I mean, do you see John sort of filling that role level as well, and becoming that sort of leader in the centre of
Yeah.
defence.
He is. He's not many people can be as loud as Connor, but that was a huge strength of his and something that we really valued. John is a voice as well. Again, we have a leadership group. He's an important part of that, not just for off the field matters, but for on the pitch stuff as well. And I think he's certainly leading with his performances at the minute, and vocally as well he does that. So he's becoming and is a fantastic defender, and we're lucky to have him.
He's such a huge character as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's obviously had his trials off the park
Yeah.
in terms of injuries, etc. But to keep coming back,
Yeah.
to get himself fit and at the level he's at just now
Yeah.
takes a lot.
He's extremely professional. He loves the club. He loves what he does. And like you say, he's been through some difficult times. For anyone to come back from that, it takes a lot of doing. But he puts in a lot of time and effort into making sure that he's maintaining his fitness and doing whatever he can to keep his levels. And that's a testament to him. And he's been a huge part of the season so far, and I'm sure he's going to be a huge part in the seasons to come.
You must be really pleased with your own form.
Yeah.
The last couple of games especially, you've had most of the penalty save, but think back to the Dundee games, there was a few big saves in there as well. You must be pleased with the way that you're playing in the last few weeks.
Listen, I feel great. I mean, the amount of games you play, there's always things you can pick out and things you can do better, but I feel extremely comfortable here. I love the work that I do. I love my job. I love playing for this football club. And I think all of that, with a bit of maturity in there as well and getting a little bit older, you learn how to be at your best, perhaps more often than not. So I'm in a really good place. I'm enjoying it. And so for me, things just just one game at a time, just enjoy it and just try and help the team when I can. Some games recently I haven't had to do so much, and sometimes you have to, and that's just part of your job, and ready when I need to.
Yeah, can you enjoy these European nights, taking it to a different level, facing a different opponent?
Yeah, they're huge. They're games and teams with huge stars, huge budgets, huge European credentials, and for us, it's an opportunity to test ourselves, something we've never shied away from. Something that any of the players in the squad will tell you, it's an exciting night. It's an exciting night for the club as well, and we're looking forward to it. As a player, I didn't get the chance to compete personally in European football. Obviously, witnessed some of it at United a couple of years ago, but to be able to perform in these games and be a part of them, it's something special. So it's something I think everyone steps up for, fans and players alike. And we're looking forward to it.
Last couple, please, guys.
Last season,
Yep.
In your opinion, what is it that's enabling Rangers to do that, to raise the level, to compete either against better teams or teams from better leagues?
The challenge, the old the underdog story, people that don't think you can, and I think that's always something that keeps this club coming back, is that, if you want to write us off, go for it, but we'll relish the challenge, and that's certainly something that we've done in the European games and something that we need to continue throughout all competitions that we're in. But they're great opportunities for people to perform and showcase what they're about, which we have done, and hopefully we can do a little bit more this year.
Can you talk us through your own preparation for a big European game like this?
Not a lot of changes. Perhaps a little bit more focus on some individuals and what to expect from some. But on any given night, anything can happen, so you just try and prepare mentally and as physically as best you can. Like I said, I feel in a great place and feeling good spirits, and just sort of looking forward to the game and whatever comes my way.
Last one, Andrew, please.
It looked as if 9 or 10 points would be enough to get into the knockout stages. How massive would that feel coming out of match day 2 with 6 points?
It would be huge. Even from your side, I think we're all sort of speculating what it might be. We don't quite know just yet. But we started off in a fantastic way last week. If we can add another win to that, just a solid performance and come away with something from tomorrow night, we're in a great place. But we're looking to win the game.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.